Hello everybody, it's FarmSim guy here, hope you're all doing well. We are back on Seneca County for our second stab at recording this video. If you didn't already know, I kind of had an issue over the weekend where I tried to record it. For some reason my OBS didn't pick up the video properly, so I only had the audio on the recorded track, which was a little bit frustrating because I got quite a lot done. So I'll give you a quick overview of what we've got done and we'll pick things up from there. So we are on the field on the bottom of the map, field number 116 there, planting corn. We managed to put tobacco in field 117 here, and we also managed to lime fields 30 and 29 here as well. We've still got to do lime in these two fields at the top, but we're not going to worry about that today because our focus is going to be up here, and we are going to look at merging these three fields together into one super field. And we'll get some planting done in there as well. It still needs anhydrous and it also still needs lime, so we've got quite a lot to do. So I think we're just going to jump straight in and get on with it. We'll leave the quad track up here. He's doing quite a good job. We'll come back and tidy up some loose ends at the end. We've got a liquid fertilizer tank being pulled behind that as well, which is working rather nicely. But yes, the corns, I've got turn corners on because I've got this tanker on the back. So we'll have to come over and tidy up these loose ends when he's done. But for now, let's jump back to the farm and I'll show you what we picked up in the week. There she is, the new Fendt 1100. We thought we were struggling with the power in the last live stream, so we thought we'd bring in this chip-tuned Fendt 1100 with the tracks to give us a little bit more oomph. So this is pushing 684 horsepower, I believe, so it's not messing around. And to be fair, it made light work of planting that tobacco field up at the top. We're going to leave this setup as it is, I think, because we are going to plant in the big field over on the other side of the map. But before we do that, we've got to get those fields limed. So I'm going to top up the lime spreader and I'm going to top up the hopper. I'm going to send them over to those fields, but before we do, we are going to wash it because it's pretty messy after we finish the fields across the road there. And the other thing we're going to do today is get those fields planted as well. We've got our tobacco and our peanuts as experimental crops, but we are going to go back to some standard crops as well because obviously we've got to make some money. We've got to start returning the income that we've expended on all this fancy machinery. So we need to get a very good harvest in this year. Hence the reason I'm spending a lot of time making sure I'm fully fertilised, everything's limed, everything's got nitrogen in the ground, so we can really optimise the yield we get out of these fields. But that's nicely done. We'll go and fill this up quickly, and we will run him over to the other fields on the other farm. We do have another lime fill point over there, so we're not going to have to run all the way across the map with this to keep refilling it, but we'll get him into the field and we'll get him started. I have to say, since Mark Thor's update on this, I am really enjoying this with the working brakes and the rather nice proper animation of the lime going down on the field. So let's send him up to the other fields, so we'll see him up there. Now at the same time, we're going to run this speed tiller back up there as well, because, like I said, I want to join those three fields together into one mega field. So as you can see, there's the lime spreader heading up over there. We're going to send this guy out there with him, and he can close over the gaps, and then we can get all three fields sorted at the same time. Now we do have 60% of lime left in this, but I will fold this up, I'll get this refilled. And then we will get this following the lime spreader as well. So we've got backup over on those fields to get that sorted as quickly as we can. And then we'll probably think about putting something in these fields here as well. We do have the early riser planter, which is obviously working on the other field at the top at the moment, but he's nearly finished. So the moment he is done, we can run him down to that field at the bottom. We don't need the tank on the back for those bits because they've already been anhydrous. So we should be able to rattle through those fields relatively quickly. But we'll get this guy filled up and we'll send him on his merry way as well. There we go, that didn't take long. Let's get him on the road and up to the other farm. Now when we're done we will run this beast up there. Now to be able to do that we're probably going to need a pilot vehicle up front. This is a massive thing to be running along the road, and these roads, as you've probably seen already, are pretty narrow, so we'll probably have to get something sorted to get it up there. But once it's up there, I think actually after that we'll probably leave it up there. These fields have proved to be really not big enough for it, unless we start joining some of these together as well. But in the meantime we'll give this a wash, get it all prepped, and we will go and check out what the quad track's doing on the top field. If he's nearly finished, we are in good spirits and looking good for moving on to these fields at the bottom. Now we've just come off a long conversation with the dealer who turned up with a low loader just there and offered us a bit of a loan of some more equipment. And I have to say, his timing couldn't have been better. He'd been on another farm and he thought he would stop on the way past and see if we were interested in it. And he's delivered to us this 3380 air cart, and this nice pull behind seeder. So this is a pull between with a pull behind seeder. So we're going to give those a go. But he also dropped off this. I was thinking I was going to have to pull a case seeder behind a John Deere tractor because that's all I've got lying around at the moment. But oh no, he gave us this Case Magnum, the 420 horsepower version with wide tracks on it. So we've got to give this a go. This looks awesome. So we're going to jump in and we're going to give this a go straight away. I have not used this before, so I am intrigued. Now, because we've done all our bits and pieces on these fields, I only need to seed this, so I'm interested to see if we can just fill this up with seed rather than fertiliser. We shall find out. But we'll run it over now to the fill point, we'll get it filled up and we'll get it into these fields. But this is a lovely looking bit of kit. Very excited about trying this out, so we'll see how it goes. But again, we've got more kit than we know what to do with at the moment on this farm. Not that I'm complaining. Let's fold out the hopper to get it filled up. Now there are 2 bays in it. Let's see if we can fill them both with seed. So the third one along here is seed. Let's make sure we get our fill point accurate. It's quite nice actually. It's not so big that it's too cumbersome. So we might be alright with it. And there we go. We'll get our seed filled up. Switch to the second bay as well. It's not going to let us fill that with seed as well. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to fill it with fertiliser. I'm just going to try without and see if it allows us to do that. Now if it doesn't, we might have to come back and put fertiliser in it as well, even though it won't register because the field is sorted already with precision farming for fertiliser. But it's interesting. Now there's quite a lot of seed in there, so I'm kind of hoping that will get us through both of these fields in one go. We are going to put wheat in both of these fields, so we know what we're planting. So it should be relatively straightforward. So let's get this hooked up and let's get it over to the field next door and give it a go. Now we did have a 60-foot version of this disc as well, but I chose the 40-foot just because of the size of the tractor and the size of the fields really. I kind of felt like we've got enough big equipment already, so this medium, well I say medium, it's still pretty big, but this size piece of equipment might just suit us a little bit better on these field sizes. But here we are, let's fire this up and see how we get on. Get it unfolded and we'll take things from there. Okay, we're up and running. Everything's running smoothly. We did have to go back and drop some fertiliser into the tank for it to allow us to operate. But looking at the readouts, it's not reducing that fertiliser at all at the moment because it doesn't need to. There's enough on the field and precision farming's working that out. So although it's in there, I don't think it'll drop down. So that's good. We're not wasting any money there. So we'll let this guy get on with it and jump into a little montage.
1,000 times before. Baby, it's now or never. I gotta leave this town and I know what you're asking for. You say it's out of my reach, but I can't pretend no more. 'Cause for as long as I remember, it's been stuck inside my mind. You can't ask me to surrender when reaching for the dream keeps me alive. 'Cause it's
Well, while he's getting his feet all covered in lime, he's doing really, really well, and we're making good progress. If I just pan around here now, you can see we're on skip rows. So he's cutting every second row so he can make the turns a bit better. But we'll leave him to it for a bit, and we'll head up to the other farm, and I'm just going to join those 3 fields together just now. Okay, there's the Titan. He's just arrived. There's the quad track, and there is the lime refill as well. So I think the first thing we're going to do is jump in the Titan, get him into the field and starting to spread some lime, because we've really just got to run up 2 strips in here. You can't really see it on the map here. In fact, if I switch to precision, you'll see it better. There's a line there and a line there. We are just going to run the speed tiller over both of those. Join these 3 fields together, which will be great. And then what we'll have to do is run around the outside of these fields with a tractor just to capture the edge, because this will be not captured in Courseplay, so we'll have to treat this as a custom field. But that's all good, we can do that. And then if you click through here, as you can see at the moment, the pH value for the lime isn't quite right. We need to get that more into the green space here. And if you click over here, as you can see as well, no ammonia on here yet either, so we need to apply that. But I think we'll do that, like I said, with the big seeder and the big fendt, and we'll bring those up separately. So for now, it's a focus on getting the liming done and joining these 3 fields together. So let's get into it. Okay, to make things easy, I'm going to do the liming ahead of turning this into one big field, just so we can get things started. You know, this is all about efficiency really more than anything. So we'll start him in this first field here, and then we will, while he's working on the liming, we can work on those 2 bits of ground and get them merged into one field. So let's get this unfolded. That's pretty unsafe doing that over the road. You only got to have a car come along and knock those off. That would be quite expensive, but looks like we've got away with it. Okay, we're going to fire up Courseplay on this, and we'll leave him to it for a little bit. Okay, Courseplay all set up. He's going to head off down here, and we will leave him to it. As you can see, this is quite a hilly field actually. So that big fendt is going to have to use all its power to get around there with the big drill setup. I've got every confidence that he can do it, but we're a little bit away from that yet. There's a little bit of work we need to do in these fields first. I mean, the other option is we run anhydrous separately on these to avoid those issues with the towing problem on the big seeder, and we just have the big seeder up here. So that could be an option as well. Haven't quite thought the best approach yet, but yeah, we'll have a think about that while we're doing all these little chores here. But he's going to start the liming now, so we will let him crack on with it. So there's the spreader just disappearing over the horizon there. We've jumped back to the quad track. We'll have to help her doing that field, and we're going to do our little merge job here. So we'll run up between the 2 fields here. As you can remember, we did this in tandem, both the quad tracks running with these speed tillers up here in an earlier episode, which was thoroughly enjoyable. And actually in the live stream I ran one of these on Courseplay, and I followed along in the second one using auto drive, and it worked really well. I've just driven through a ditch there, but that's Basically what I want to do, see this edge here? It's not particularly straight. I'd like to straighten it up a little bit as well. Let's make this as neat a field as we can. Let's get this unfolded though, and we'll get things started. Okay, there we go. That is us merged this into one massive field. Now I am gonna cheekily, I'm gonna just cut this corner off just to make it easier for the combines, because we're gonna have to map the edge of the field anyway. And I think there's something nice in just rounding this edge off, so that when the combines come around at harvest time, we can actually use that corner without having to stop the combines and do hard turns with them, which is good. So that looks pretty good. And yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, as you can see, the lime spreader needs sorting as well. So we'll go and get that done. We'll run this back to the farm. We'll get that topped up again. And yes, as you may have noticed as well, I got a little pop-up when we were running that time-lapse that the other quad track has finished in the top field as well, back at the other farm. So we'll go and rescue him. He can get into some planting as well on the second field next to the other case, and it's all systems go. Okay, we're running the Steiger back to the farm now. We've just folded everything up. We did tidy up all of the little loose ends and the messy bits that had been left by courseplay. So they're all done now, which means we can run this back to the farm. And we'll maybe give it a little hose off. We'll drop the tanker off, and we can put this into the second field next to the other case Magnum that's working so well, and we can get this planting as well. That's the nice thing about this this early riser planter. You can plant everything. So we've got corn in at the moment, but equally we could put wheat or barley in as well. So you don't need separate seeders and planters, which is great. It's a definite addition and a bonus to be able to do that without having to buy 2 bits of kit. Even though we have more than one different option for planters and seeders on the farm at the moment, it's yeah, just a very handy, nice thing to have. Okay, tank dropped off. We do actually have another early riser planter in that shed as well. But again, I just don't think that one field warrants having 2 at the minute. I think it's probably better to just run the one. Now on the big field at the top, may be slightly different, but for now, I think we've got enough on, so we're not going to worry about it too much. But let's refill these tanks, and we're going to change this back to wheat, because that's what we're going to run in this field down at the bottom too. 2 wheat fields here. We'll get those sorted relatively quickly. So we'll run him to the field here. As you can see, the lime spreader needs another refill. It's non-stop with that thing. But we'll get this into this field at the bottom here, and we'll get it running.
Stormy rain tried to wash away the dream. Staff one, it says a worn out side.
there you go, the case has finished in this field, so that is another field planted. That is great stuff. I genuinely think that is this end of the farm finished, really. Let's just jump into the map and have a look. If I jump back to our planted states, yep, every field we own, the Quadtrack's just going to finish this one off here. But we've finished everything down here, which only leaves us a new big field up here. So we are looking good. Now that field up there, now you look at that merged together. That's huge. That's probably the equivalent of all of these down here pulled together. Almost, anyway. Right, let's get this unloaded back at the farm. And we'll keep an eye on the quad track, but he's going really well over there. I think it's time to shift the big seeder up to the other farm. And then we've got everything up there we need, I think. Okay, we're in the fendt. We're just going to get this filled up, and then we're going to get it to the front of the farm there. We'll get the pilot vehicle set up, running in front of it, and we'll get it to the other farm. Like I said before, let's just hope nobody meets us coming the other way, or we're really going to be in trouble. Okay, we're all prepped and ready to go. We will see you at the other farm. Okay, there we go. We've made it. No issues, and we have got the big equipment down to the farm. I think that's a good point to leave this episode. We've got everything prepped. We've got the liming done in this field here. We're going to move over to the other two fields. The quad truck is running in the other field down at the farm to get that last little bit finished. And yeah, we're looking in a good spot. So this sets us up nicely to get into the big field at the start of the next episode and take things from there. So thank you very, very much for watching. As always, I'm really enjoying the Seneca County series and love playing with this big machinery. So I hope you are too. I will see you all again very soon. Bye for now.